What's going on, everybody? This is Nyle from Financial Time Traveler, here to give you an update on what the White House released yesterday about income, poverty, and health insurance. All right, so getting into the 6 points that they outlined that surprised a lot of economists because last year we had a small growth rate. The stock market fell off a cliff at the end of the year and then rallied back, and then we had another drop at the beginning of 2016. We saw 2.4% GDP growth on the year for 2015. So when these numbers came out, they surprised a couple people. So let's get into point number one, which is probably the biggest. Real median household income rose by 5.2%, or $2,798 in 2015. That's the fastest on record for a year-to-year jump. So from 2014 to 2015, we saw a 5.2% increase across the board for real median household income. Now, what is real median household income? That's the average, the 50th percentile, taking all the income earned across the nation, making an average, and then adjusting it for inflation. That's what makes it real. That's what makes it 100. So going on to point number two, the total number of Americans below the poverty line fell by 3.5 million from 2013 all the way over to 2015, and the official poverty rate fell to 13.5% due to the largest one-year drop since 1968. Now, the Census Bureau has only been reporting this information since 1967, so it's pretty cool that we've seen the largest drop since 1968, the year after they started reporting it. Some people asked me to remind them what the federal poverty line is, or the FPL, as we call it here in the white-collar world. It changes annually and are used to measure eligibility for government assistance programs. So it's not exactly how much you need to be able to feed yourself and get a food over your head, but it's how much, if you don't make this amount, that's what qualifies you for some of these government assistance programs. That we'll talk to you in a later point. Point number three, households of all income percentiles reported gains by the Census Bureau, with the largest gains among the households at the bottom of the income distribution. So when you look at the average, the 50th percentile down to the 40, the 30, the 10, we'll show you the graph right here, is that the lower half saw the highest in percentage points. Now, when we break that down in dollar signs, it tells a different story. I thought it was interesting when I was reading the article that they didn't break down exactly what the dollar signs were for these percentages. So here's an example. The Census Bureau looks at how many households are making particular incomes. The average household was $56,000, as I outlined. But another way to put it, if you combine your household income was $56,000 last year, then you made more than 50 out of 100 people if they were at ratio for one person representing each income bracket. For instance, the 10th percentile saw at the poverty line was $12,000, or just above in the 10th percentile was $12,276. They saw the 7.9% increase, which in dollar signs equates to $969.80. Compare that to the 95th percentile, which they said saw the lowest increase in percentages when they have an income over $200,000. The increase of 3.7% represents $7,643. Now, if I put in percentages, how much of a percent increase is $969 to $7,643? That's 788% more in dollars that the top percentile made than the bottom percentile. So they try to pitch it so that the lower income distribution had the largest percentage increase, but when we look at the dollars, it tells a different story. So let's move on to point number four real quick. All racial and ethnic groups saw increases in household income and decreases in poverty in 2015. Nothing to be mad at here. I think everybody should be happy that we're seeing not just one ethnic group participate in this income increase, but all across the board, as well as poverty rates dropping. And that leads us into point number five in 2015, refundable tax credits. When we factor these into the income, like the Earned Income Tax Credit, or EITC, and the Child Tax Credit, which I have 3 kids this year. I'm looking forward to banging in on that Child Tax Credit, lifted 4.8 million children out of poverty. Now, I guess to clarify that, I won't get the tax credit, but there's a little bit of a tax deduction for having kids. But if you make a certain level, you qualify for these child tax credits, and it helped 4.8 million children get out of poverty. That's a big deal, and it maybe for those of us who pay taxes make us think about where is this money going. It has helped in a tremendous way for some people. There is a lot of waste going in there, so there are ways that we can be more efficient, but we do see some progress here, so that's a good thing. Moving on to point number 6, in 2015, the share of people without health insurance declined in almost every state, and all states have seen gains since 2013, reflecting the continued progress of the Affordable Care Act, also known as ACA or Obamacare, depending on if you're a red guy or a blue guy. So what are these dots and lines that you're seeing on the graph? Well, the dots and lines, each dot represents a state, and the trend line is exactly which direction are people either dropping or adding healthcare coverage. And we've seen a positive trend where more and more people are getting healthcare. What is a Medicaid non-expansion state? Well, a Medicaid non-expansion state is a state that rejected federal monies to help them fund their Medicaid program, and they're footing the bill internally. So there you have it, guys. 6 solid key indicators from the whitehouse.gov that show us that the income levels are increasing. Poverty rates are dropping in 2015. We'll see what it has to say next year for 2016 as they get all those tax returns and they do all their accounting. What does it mean to you? Was your income increase last year in 2015? And what did you do with that increase? I saw some other numbers when we seen the drop in gas prices at the pump. Average household saved $1,000 in 2016 because of lower gas prices. What are we doing with that money? Are you saving it? Are you spending it? Are you looking forward to the holidays? Are we going to see retail, consumer staples go up? Are we going to see consumer discretionaries go up? Where are you investing your money if we're seeing these moves and people earning more income? Or is this simply people who lost their jobs due to the Great Recession that have found jobs and are adding income to their household? Let us know in the comments section. We'll address it in our next podcast. Maybe we'll do another segment like this. Who knows? We appreciate you tuning in. Share, like us on social media, subscribe on your favorite podcast medium, which is in the Apple Store or Stitcher or SoundCloud. We're all over the map. Once again, this is Nyle coming to you at Financial Time Traveler headquarters. I'm going to go back to the future. You can stay where you want to stay, or you can come with me at financialtimetraveler.com. See you next time.